I know it looks like I'm standing in a prehistoric forest, but 150 years ago, these were just sand dunes. I'm in San Francisco and I'm in Golden Gate Park. My name is Bonnie Spindler and I'm here with the American Dream. And today we're going to talk about the foresight of the Victorians to put parks and nature in urban life. In 1850, this location was windswept, cold, and full of sand. There were dust storms. And no one could understand how you could make this into a park. What would grow? So they brought in Frederick Olmsted, who created Central Park, and he came through and said, use the topography, the natural ups and downs of the land, and you'll have a beautiful park. They passed a law that said they wanted to create a park, and Governor Haight, as in Haight Street, signed it into law, and they started to go about buying the land to make Golden Gate Park. We just kind of think that these things happen, but it took a lot of effort, legislation, bills, and political will to get the park done. It's quite astonishing. This is the Conservatory of Flowers. It was finished in 1879, and it's the oldest wooden greenhouse owned by a municipality in the country. So this conservatory was built as a kit, if you can imagine, by James Lick. And he wanted to put it in his own yard in San Jose, and he literally died before he could get it done. So his estate, the trustees, sold it off, and some businessmen in San Francisco bought it and donated it to San Francisco. And that's how the conservatory came to be here. It's a very beautiful structure, and inside there are plants from all over the world. Aquatic plants, blooming plants, potted plants, and we'll take a quick look. Here we are in the lowland tropics of the Conservatory of Flowers. This room is 60 feet tall. And what you probably can't tell is that each pane of glass overlaps the other like fish scales to naturally shed water and to kind of give it a more iridescent look. It's also painted white so that direct sunlight doesn't come into the conservatory. It's a more filtered light. In 1900, Klaus Spreckels built the Temple to Music, which is the structure that you see behind me here. They have been playing free concerts in the park since 1882, the Golden Gate Park Band. It was the same year that Jesse James was shot, and it kind of talks about how wild the West still was. In comparison, you've had free concerts here ever since. So here we are at the other end of Golden Gate Park. Behind me is a Dutch windmill. As I told you, all of these plantings were made in sand dunes and they needed an enormous amount of water. And they had been using the Spring Hill Water Company, and that just got to be exorbitantly expensive. And so they decided to build windmills to pull water out of the ground. It took out of the ground 30,000 gallons of water per hour, and that adds up to 1.5 million per day. That water fed the park for many years. Finally, they stopped using wind power to pull the water out of the ground, and they mechanized the pumps. To this day, this is just decoration. They are no longer watering the park, but it's too bad given our environmental problems that the wind is no longer providing the water for Golden Gate Park. So I think the Victorians got to their goal. They created a world-class park equivalent to Central Park. And there are so many interesting infrastructure items that I never covered that you can explore on your own. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Bonnie Spindler. This was The American Dream, and I'll see you again next month.